We're going to be taking a look at a little bit of a ration oddity today. Before me, I have a case of rations here. This case is date marked 11/79, so that is November 1979. That would lead one to think that this is a case of meal combat individuals, aka C-Rations. And essentially that's what it is. However, these are a little bit different. So let's take a look at this right quick. Now, there they are, those very characteristic cardboard boxes of your MCIs or meal combat individuals. However, there's a little something weird with these, and that is that they don't actually say meal combat individual. I have another example here to compare against. As you can see, this box clearly states meal combat individual, says where it was packed and what the menu is. In this case of 12 rations, not one of them states that the ration is a meal combat individual. And that is because these are commercial meal combat individuals. Much like the major MRE producers of today, Ameriqual, Sopacko, and Warneck, make their own commercial branded rations for the civilian market, they did that back in the day with MCIs as well. It just so happens this is a Sopacko case. Of course, Sopacko still makes civilian MREs today along with military MREs. And this entire case was meant for civilian sales. Just as in many civilian ration cases today, it comes with 12 meals, but only 6 different menus, so you have 2 of each menu. One of the things that sets these rations apart from a regular military meal combat individual is the menu variation. Of course, they have different mains. This is an absolutely pristine looking can of 1979 packed beans with chicken frankfurter chunks and tomato sauce. And this other ration here is also a fantastic example of a can that is turkey with dumplings, but all of the side items are virtually identical. Both of these rations have a pound cake, have a B unit, and have a can of peanut butter. Those are the same kind of items you would find in a military meal combat individual. Within a case of military meal combat individuals, you'll have some variation. So one will have a can of peanut butter, one will have a can of cheese, they'll have cans of jam and stuff like that. Every single ration in this case has pound cake, peanut butter, and a B unit. It doesn't have B2 units or B3 units, just B units. They still have regular MCI style spoons, your very characteristic MCI style accessory pack. So it's the same kind of items, just not as much menu diversity as you'll find in the military versions. And that same sort of thing carries over into modern day rations. If you look at a case of civilian MREs, the menu variation is typically much less than that of a case of military MREs. Since we already have our civilian beans with frankfurters unpacked here, I figured we will compare that directly against a military meal combat individual, beans with frankfurter chunks in tomato sauce. Right away you can tell the outside of the boxes here are different. Of course, this one was packaged by Universal Folding Box Company. This one was packaged by Sopacko in South Carolina. The menu names are a little bit different. This one is beans with chicken franks, whereas this one has a much longer name. However, we just read the title of the can, and the name of the actual entree on the can is pretty much identical to what the military MCI is. This one has a B unit, where this one specifically states that it has a B2 unit. The boxes themselves dimensionally are identical. I think it's important to mention that this MCI is from a 1980 case. So the civilian rations are 1979. The military version that we're looking at is 1 year newer. Let's go ahead and open it up. So the military accessory pack has the contents listed on it: matches, chewing gum, toilet paper, coffee instant, cream substitute, sugar, and salt. Whereas the commercial one just says accessory pack and Sopacko on it. It does not actually tell you what is inside the accessory pack. Of course, the MCI has an MCI style spoon. Oddly, the spoons are a little bit different though. The military one is a little bit more translucent, whereas the commercial one is a little bit more opaque. And the outside wrappers are slightly different. Instead of having peanut butter like the commercial, the military one has a can of grape jam. As I said before, this one has a B2 unit instead of just a B unit. This one has crackers and cocoa beverage powder. They have the same kind of divider on the inside of the boxes. Instead of a pound cake, the military one has a fruit cake. That's something I'm definitely gonna have to try out in the future. I've always wanted to try a MCI fruit cake. Sadly, the can for the main in this military one has not fared nearly as well. It has popped on the bottom and it is securely fused to the inside of the box. There are some slight differences between the two. The military can weighs 11 3/4 ounces, whereas the commercial one is 11.5 ounces. The ingredients are different. One of the main differences with the ingredients is that the civilian one is a chicken frankfurter, whereas the military one looks to be a beef frankfurter. The civilian label is placed on the can with a sticker, whereas the military label is very nicely stamped directly onto the lid of the can there. Just so we can get a better idea of that menu variation I was talking about, we'll take a look at a couple other military MCIs. So the one that we just checked out was the frankfurters with a B2 unit. The spaghetti with beef also has a B2 unit, but this beefsteak has a B3 unit. As I said before, every single ration in that commercial case has just a B unit in it. In the spaghetti, I know it's hard to see, but we have a can of apricot jam instead of grape. And instead of a fruitcake, this one has a cinnamon nut roll. In this beefsteak, we have an old, disgusting, exploded can of cheese spread cheddar. And this stuff smells disgusting, by the way. That B3 unit is crackers and candy. The beefsteak with gravy is the small can, and for your larger can, this one actually includes quartered pears, which have exploded and pretty much ruined the box. There's actually quite a lot of variety in what you can run into in military MCIs. Various different jams, different canned cake and bread products, large can entrees, small can entrees, cans of fruit. Whereas with these civilian MCIs, the only difference, ration to ration, is that main entree can. We'll finish this video up with a direct comparison between the accessory packs. On the left here, I have the commercial MCI accessory pack. It has a tear notch. And I noticed something sort of odd about this particular one. One side of the package is a different color from the other side of the package. This side is far easier to read. You don't get that with the military one. Let's pull that tear notch. It's a standard military style foil accessory package. Yeah, these contents are definitely different from what I'm used to seeing. It does have your regular pack of matches, a pack of gum, looks like spearmint, an unbranded package of toilet paper, a pack of iodized salt, a pretty large bag of sugar, a completely hardened cream substitute dry non-dairy, and a package that's just labeled instant coffee. Open up this military accessory pack. Same sort of outside bag. In the military one, we also have toilet paper, although this one is branded Tufco Industries, a pack of iodized salt, and also completely hardened pack of cream substitute dry non-dairy, a virtually identical pack of matches, a more military looking 6-gram sugar package. There's actually 2 of those, and the coffee in this one is Coffee Instant Type 1, so we can definitely tell some stark differences between the coffee types. For the gum in the military accessory pack, we have a pack of Beechey's Peppermint. So you can certainly tell that the commercial accessory pack has more commercial-like products. The military accessory pack pretty much all looks like military stuff. I wasn't actually planning on testing anything in this video, but I'm so intrigued by this very simply labeled instant coffee that I think we're going to do a side-by-side coffee comparison. So let's take a look at this instant coffee first. Feels like it's in mostly powder form. Oh yeah, it's looking real good. It's an extremely fine-grained instant coffee. Smells pretty good. Throw that in the glass. It's definitely looking like a spray dry to me. It's such a fine powder. And we'll put that directly up against some good old Coffee Instant Type 1. Also an extremely fine powder. Side by side, they look very similar. The Coffee Instant Type 1 is a little bit darker in color than the civilian instant coffee is. The grain structure on the Coffee Instant Type 1 actually might be more fine grain than the instant coffee is. They smell virtually identical. Let's add water to both of these. I went with 6 ounces of water on both of these. We'll give them a quick stir with the MCI spoon. They're certainly looking different. The Coffee Instant Type 1 is a much more brown color. The instant coffee is a more dark black. There's a little bit of foam on the instant coffee, where there's almost no head whatsoever on the Coffee Instant Type 1. The Coffee Instant Type 1 is basically our control in this test, so I will give it a try first. Bitter, slight chicory flavor, but very smooth. Tastes about like a medium roast. It doesn't have any overpowering coffee aroma or anything. It's pretty neutral. With sugar and creamer, it's pretty excellent. By itself, it's still fairly decent. All right, now let's get a try of the civilian MCI instant coffee, it's all the difference in the world. This civilian instant coffee is literally the worst ration coffee I've ever had. It doesn't even taste like coffee. It has no coffee flavor whatsoever. It's very slightly bitter. It's hard for me to admit it, but I think this is actually worse than Deep Rich. It tastes like almost nothing. It's crazy. It's just a colored water with a little bit of bitterness to it. The Coffee Instant Type 1 blows it away in terms of flavor. I think you could mix that in 1 ounce of water and it would still taste like nothing. It literally has no flavor whatsoever. Very interesting, but not at all recommended. I think I'll stick with Coffee Instant Type 1. Oh yeah, so much better. So much better. It actually tastes like coffee. I thought it was pretty interesting to compare and contrast the difference between what was on the civilian market for rations in the late 70s, early 80s versus what the military was actually given to the troops. I do intend on having future reviews on both commercial and military MCIs in the future, so stay tuned to those. Thanks so much for watching, guys. This has been Ration Rewind, the series in which I'm reposting my old ration reviews from my first YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up to help it out with that Google algorithm, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to catch all of my future ration content. This is the one-stop shop for MRE related content, old and new, foreign and domestic, military and commercial. We do it all here on Readiness Rations. Be sure to drop me a comment and check out my social links down in the description of this video, and I will be back with a new video for you guys next week. Until then, I will catch you in the next video. See you then. Peace.